Most of us know that Casey Neistat is one of the OG vloggers of YouTube. But for me, the most inspiring part of his video is his studio in New York City. This eclectic yet creative space seems like the perfect foundation for storytelling. And I've always wanted to build a version of my own. Lucky for me, my new apartment comes with a very random 4-foot by 6-foot alcove in between the bathroom and the bedroom. And it is the perfect space for my own Casey Neistat inspired studio. Now, I started with the workbench, which, by the way, everything that I buy from Amazon that's in this video is going to be linked in the description below. And I'll let you know how I feel about these products so far, even though I've only been using them for a few days. The workbench I had to build from the ground up, and it was a little janky. Now, I knew I wouldn't be using this for construction or anything all that hardcore, so I was happy with the price and really the quality. Now, at one point, I did get super frustrated with the alignment of the drawer and the issue with it not opening and closing very well, and I kind of busted half of it. So I'm not saying it's perfect, but I know it'll do the trick for being kind of a desk/filming area. Now, after I partially built the desk, I then laid down a floor. I didn't want to put the workbench directly onto the floor that's here in the apartment, so I bought these foam/rubber puzzle piece flooring things. Now they're really lightweight, really easy to use, and I was able to get enough to fit a 4x6 space, which was perfect. Then I took the workbench and wanted to place it into the alcove, which was a bit of a challenging part because it's hard to get a 4-foot desk into a 4-foot 4-inch space. And this is where I ran into probably the most trouble of the whole entire assembly.
What if this doesn't fit? Oh gosh. Shoot. There goes the security deposit. Oh, that's perfect.
But once it was all completely set up, I was actually happy with its sturdiness and the way it looked. I think it looks super clean and I love the way it fills this space. Next, I decided to kind of accessorize the space. Now, obviously this is a studio, but I also wanted to feel a little bit like a garage. So I added a license plate, a whiteboard, a little kind of fake neon sign, and these trail bike helmets. I've had them for a few years. My brothers and I used to trail bike. I gotta get new bikes, so for now, they'll sit here kind of on display. I think they look really cool. And they add to that garage feel without anything becoming too clustered, claustrophobic, and it still looks really clean in here. Now, the whole point of this space was that it was gonna be really conducive to photography and videography, as well as DIY and some crafting. I'm not really sure what that means yet, but I'm kind of hoping to dip my finger into some new hobbies this year, so stick around and find out what that means. The most important part was storing the photography and videography equipment, which thankfully this workbench has plenty of space for that. On the top shelf, I wanted to put all my essential grab and go camera gear. So the things that I use on a daily or weekly basis, they all are on the top shelf. And the military taught me well. I got some packing foam and I cut out space for every piece of equipment so that it knew exactly where it was supposed to go and it was easy to grab and it was safe and protected on the top shelf. I also decided to store more of my bigger, kind of in the way, bulky equipment on the shelving part of the workbench. It was perfect for tripods, light stands, gimbals, all my GoPro equipment. The stuff that's a little bit more random and I don't use it on a daily basis, but it's good to have around. Then in the drawers, I have more equipment that's more day-to-day need, but it's also kind of like extra, like the batteries, the chargers, the accessories for the mic. All of that is in the drawer on the right side of the workbench. And the drawer on the left side of the workbench, that's more of the crafting, DIY, grab and go, like glue, paint, paintbrushes, rubber bands, rubber gloves, construction paper, things that are just gonna help with like the storytelling process and being creative with it. Now, the really cool part about this workbench is that it comes with the pinhook backing. This was the sell for me because I wanted a pinhook backing because it's so convenient. Pinhooks basically allow you to attach hooks, bins, shelves, anything of that nature, anywhere you want on the backing. So you can design it however you please, and it kind of helps you get organized and create like little pockets of space. Like on this side, we have all of our tapes, and then on that side, we have more of our construction, and then the far right side is completely eclectic. The paper towels, I don't even know why they're there. Thought it looks cool. So it's a space where you can kind of design it. The hooks and shelving that you see on my pinhook shelf came with this workbench, but there are plenty of other options if you wanted to go with bins or get a whole other kind of set of accessories. That's fine too. This worked best for me, and I think it's going to change over time, but for now I kind of just placed everything I had on there, and if I add or take away, that's probably going to happen in the year, but that's totally fine. So this is pretty much the whole entire assembly. I did also add my studio light. I've had some people ask about the lighting because I posted a picture on Instagram. That'll be linked in the description as well. The stand for the light is just Amazon Basics, but the light and the accessory diffusion, that is Newer, which is one of my favorite brands for all my equipment and my gear. Like I said earlier, all the links will be in the description below so that you can reference them. Read your own reviews, definitely study them yourselves. It's early days for a lot of this equipment, so I'm not really sure how it's gonna fare. Just a PSA. A couple extra things. There is this cutting board, which is super dope, kind of like leathery plastic. It self-heals if you cut on it. I just think it looks dope, so I'm gonna use it for videos. I also, on the side, am storing some poster board and different backdrops for product photography and videography, which I plan to get into this year as well. So everything's just here, ready to go. I've got my whiteboard, I've got some really cool lighting. It's super comfortable space, and this whole apartment is really beautiful, and I'm having a great time here, and this is just such a bonus. So I'm super stoked about it. Oh, and I wanted to mention these tube lights. I've had them for about 3 years now. The battery on them dies kind of quickly. That's my only negative, but they are magnet, and so is the pinhook wall. So they can just kind of stick to the wall, and they change color and do all these really cool things. So that's going to be a super neat addition as well. A lot more content coming this year. Probably a lot of it filmed in this space, so I'm super excited. And it's just nice to have a little extension of my work space where I edit and do all that work. I can come out here and kind of hang out, play, be creative, tell stories, make videos, and I'm stoked. So Casey Neistat, I know this is a teeny tiny mini version of it, and it's really not that similar to his, but that was the inspiration behind this space, and I appreciate you guys watching. Okay, more to come, and I'll see you some other time. Bye, thanks, peace.